welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Chelsea and I go to the Johns Hopkins University, and today I'm going to be reviewing all of my classes from my freshman year. Just as an FYI, I started my freshman year as an applied math major, and then I transitioned to cognitive science for my second semester. That's what my major still is now. So a lot of the classes from my first semester will relate to math and just that major in general. I'm going to start off with my fall semester. The first class is first year seminar for Japanese robots. I took this class with Professor Firmer, and I give this class probably a 7 out of 10. It was a 3-credit course, so it was a decent workload. We probably had an hour's worth of homework per week, maybe 2 hours. We were usually assigned a reading. Sometimes that could take a while, so that's why it could be an hour to 2 hours, and then we would do a short summary on it. And then about halfway through, we started to work on a research project based on Japanese robots, topic of our choosing, and we just presented at the end of the semester. The next class is Introduction to Cognitive Neuropsychology. I took this class with Professor McCloskey. I give this class a 9.5 out of 10 because I really enjoyed this class. This class is actually the reason why I changed my major to cognitive science, so you know. This class did have a pretty heavy workload. It wasn't unmanageable. For this class, we could have probably up to 3 quizzes a week, but on average about 2 quizzes a week. And that's just because this was fully asynchronous. So that means we were watching the lectures on our own time, and then we would complete the quizzes by the due date. And this was just so that we stay on track with the course and don't just get 2 months behind on lectures. And yeah, I think as long as you pay attention to this class, you will be good. I feel like it's pretty hard to fail this class. The next class is Calculus 2, and I took the Physical Sciences and Engineering version of it, and this was a 4-credit class. Just off the bat, I give this class 1 out of 10. I wish that I could have dropped it, but it's a 4-credit class, so it was really important, and then I figured I'd probably need it for whatever major I have, so I just kept it. But the professor I have, she may be a good teacher in person, but I know that while I was taking her class, I could not retain any information. Some people could say that's a personal issue, oh, maybe you should be teaching yourself the content at home. Now, that's true, but this class in particular had quizzes that were based on work that we did not learn in class, work that wasn't even in the textbook. We'd have quizzes that were twice as hard as what we were ever introduced to in class or outside of class. So that's why I hated this class so much. Now, I'm not saying don't take this class or anything like that. I think it was really just my professor, because other people that I spoke to, they did not have issues. So yeah, if you have a good professor, then I think you'll be good. It was just my teacher. Do not recommend Professor Wang. Sorry. The next class is a heart class, which is basically just an introduction to research. The topic that I had was modeling spoken language translation. This was a 1-credit class, so it was super easy, literally just a free credit. I took this class with Elizabeth Selesky. This one I just attended every Tuesday, and Liz would just give us information about whatever topic we're on for that day. So this one was pretty cool. I will say that I wasn't as interested in the topic as I thought I would be, so I got a little bored with it, but Liz was a great teacher. Wasn't anything with her at all. But yeah, for that reason, I'd probably give that class a 5 out of 10 because it was a free credit, so I'm not gonna complain. I just, I could have picked a better topic that would be more interesting to me. The last class that I took in my first semester is Freshman Experience in Applied Math and Statistics, and I took this with Professor Grimmer. This was another 1-credit class, so free credit. We didn't really have any homework for this. All we would have to do was just read assigned chapters of a book. So I was learning about 3D shapes and things like that during that semester. I will say this semester taught me that I wasn't really as much of a fan of math as I thought I was. So I wasn't really interested in this class either. I got pretty bored with it. But Professor Grimmer is really sweet. If you have to take a class and he's one of the professors, take it. Just take the class. He has a really nice grading scale. He'll try to maximize your score based on how you perform in all aspects of the class, so he won't weigh it heavily on tests if you're better at homework or something like that. But yeah, this class was pretty cool. I would give this class a 5 out of 10 as well, just because it wasn't super interesting to me, but he's still a great teacher. The next class that I took is Honors Discrete Math, and I took this with Professor Nong. We call him Professor G in class. I will say that Professor G was a great teacher. He explained things very well, but I just struggled in this class. I did not understand what was going on, and I was pretty shy, so you know, I didn't want to go to office hours because I was scared to admit that I didn't understand what was going on. So don't be like me. If you need help, if you're confused, go to office hours. No one's gonna judge you. But yeah, for this class, it was completely different from what I expected. I was so used to taking honors classes in high school that I thought I could do very well in college. No. About a month into taking this class, I deeply regretted not choosing the regular discrete math because we were like just so far ahead of them, and I wish that I would have taken that instead because I would not have struggled so badly. I did end up withdrawing from this class just because I didn't think there was like a really high chance that I would pass the class because of how bad I was doing, and that was also when I decided that I was going to change my major. So I'm like, okay, this is not going to relate to my new major at all, won't need it, so I'm just gonna drop it, because at that point I was just stressing myself out. I would literally do the homework for like 8 hours straight and get nowhere with it. So yeah, I'd give this class like a 4 out of 10 just because Professor G was really cool. He was a great teacher, but I just didn't understand what's going on and it just made me miserable. I personally recommend going to regular discrete math rather than honors discrete. Don't be a me. Honors at Johns Hopkins is not the same as honors in high school. The next class that I took is from Intersession, and if you aren't familiar with what Intersession is, it's just like a 2 to 4 week class that you take over winter break, and it's only 1 credit, so it's like super easy, literally just a free credit in my opinion. The class that I took was Promoting Your Well-Being, Holistic Practices and Mindfulness. I took this class with Professor Kara. Overall, this class was really cool. I give it like a 10 out of 10 because one, there's like no homework. All we had to do for homework was meditate and like log what we're doing. This is like a self-care class to me. Like, it just taught me how to take better care of myself, how to meditate, and just being in the present. So I would 100% recommend this class. It's pretty relaxing again, and it's also a free credit like I said, and you'll learn something about yourself, so definitely recommend. Moving on to the spring semester, I would give this semester overall like a 7 out of 10. I was so much happier. The first class is called Neuroscience Cognitive. This was a 3 credit class and I took it with Professor Bonner. He's a great teacher. This class was fully virtual and you had the option to either watch the lecture while they're being taught, like at 10 a.m. or you could watch the recording later and complete the quiz by the end of the week. And this was actually 2 quizzes a week. We have one due on Sunday and then one due on Monday because we would have 2 lectures per week. I give this class like a 7 out of 10 because I will say it was really interesting. I loved learning everything in this class. My only issue is that I started off the semester just like watching the lectures as they were being filmed, and then I would take the quiz afterwards, and I kept getting low scores on the quiz. I get like 60%. I think I even got 40% on one of the quizzes, and I'm like, how am I doing bad on it? I took diligent notes throughout the whole lecture and I was paying attention the whole time, so how did I do bad? The reason I was doing bad was because I couldn't get all of the notes as he was saying it. So I discovered that if I take notes while I'm watching the recorded lecture, then I can get better notes. So that's the only reason why it's a 7 out of 10. The next class is Cognitive Neuropsychology of Visual Perception, the Malfunctioning Visual Brain. That whole thing is the name of it. I took this with Professor McCloskey again, and this was a 3 credit course, and little did I know this was actually an upper class course. So there are classes that are more so meant for like freshmen and sophomores, and then classes that are upper class that are like for juniors and seniors. And when I was searching for a course, I saw Professor McCloskey, you know, one of my favorite professors. It was just like the class that I took the previous semester. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna take this class. There was just a lot more work to do. We had a lot more lectures to watch before we took each quiz, yet we had the same amount of quizzes. So, you know, I was just doing a lot more work. For that reason, I was giving this class maybe like a 6 out of 10 because I did still enjoy it, and I got, I believe, like a B+ in it, so you know. It caught me a little off guard, so I would not recommend taking it in your freshman year, but it's still a great class to take. And if you feel like pushing yourself, then go ahead, take it. Take it, sis, or bro. The next class that I took is Introduction to Social Psychology. I took this with Dr. Dragotas. 10 out of 10. I love this class so much, and that's because Dr. Dragotas is just a great teacher. He can have a whole class that's just based on like 2 different things he's teaching. He'll spend the whole class just giving a bunch of examples on it. So yeah, I thoroughly understood what was going on in that class. I did not have any questions because he explained everything so well. This class was like completely asynchronous. Like, we didn't meet in person at all. We didn't have like little office hours in person or anything like that. I mean, you could go to office hours if you want to. So yeah, because there was like no real structure, you kind of just watch lectures whenever you feel like it. I would always get behind on lectures. I think for every single paper, I ended up watching the lectures within like 24 hours before the paper was due. So don't be like me, have some discipline, and that goes for all classes. The next class that I took is Spanish Elements 1, and I took this with Professor Tracy. This is like the lowest class you can take for Spanish, literally intro. And I did take 2 years of Spanish. So this was like honestly just a refresher of everything I learned in high school. So yeah, this class was really cool. It was like a free 4 credits to me because everything in the class was taught well. Professor Tracy always makes sure that you understand what's going on. She's just very attentive, so like I definitely recommend taking her as a teacher. Class was like a 10 out of 10 to me. I'm actually taking a class with her in the upcoming fall semester, so you can see I clearly love going to her class. The final class that I took in my freshman year was Professional Writing and Communication, and the topic for this class was Mental Health and Wellbeing Initiative. This class was taught by Professor Forte, and he was a pretty cool teacher. He wasn't like super duper laid back, but he was relatively laid back, but he still wanted to be like respected. This class overall was probably like a 7 out of 10. It wasn't super stressful, but it was a writing intensive class. Throughout this class, we were essentially just like writing business papers. So in the beginning, we started off doing resumes and like cover letters so we could prepare our stuff for internships rather than like doing it at the end of the semester. And then we were just creating like project proposals and things like that. We had one small presentation that we did ourselves, and then at the end of the semester we did a group presentation, so it was about like 3 people per group. So that was pretty cool. It wasn't like super mentally taxing because we were able to depend on each other, but I definitely recommend this class. It's like a super easy writing credit in my opinion. That sums up my freshman year at Johns Hopkins, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did like this video, then watch another video. And if you like 2 videos, you might as well subscribe because clearly we have something in common. Also, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video.